Some stories are written in ink. Ours are written in fear. Welcome to Whisper Pen. Take a deep breath and let the darkness in.
Everyone knows the official story. They made a whole movie about it. 3 brave astronauts, an explosion, a desperate struggle to get home. A successful failure, they called it. Sounds so neat, so heroic. But there are details they never put in the film. Things we didn't log in the official reports. Things that sometimes, at 3 a.m. when the world is silent, I can still hear. It all started normally, if you can call being sealed in a tin can 200,000 miles from Earth normal. Space was a vast and monotonous void. You had Jim Lovell, the calm commander, Jack Swigert, the slightly anxious rookie, and me. We were a well-oiled machine, running procedures, cracking jokes over the radio with Houston. The explosion, when it came, was just like in the movie. A loud, dry bang. A shudder through the ship. The red warning lights blinking like a Christmas tree from hell. "Houston, we've had a problem!" Jack's famous line. In the initial chaos, we did what we were trained to do. We reported, we diagnosed, we tried to save our ship. But it was after the adrenaline dust settled, when the cold, literal reality of our situation set in, that things started to feel wrong. It wasn't the equipment failure. It was the little things. The first sound wasn't the explosion. It was later, after we'd settled into the lunar module, Aquarius, our lifeboat. We heard it then. A soft knock. 3 times, very quick on the hull. Tap, tap, tap. Jim looked at me. I looked back at him. "Debris from the blast," he said, but his voice wasn't sure. In a vacuum, sound doesn't travel. Whatever made that noise had to be physically touching us. We ignored it. We had to. Then came the transmissions from Houston. Most of the time they were clear and professional, but occasionally, in between instructions on power conservation or trajectory burns, we'd hear something else. A whisper, buried in the static. The first time, I thought I was imagining it. It sounded like a fragment of a lullaby. Just a few notes, lost and strange. I asked Jack if he heard it. He shook his head. His eyes glued to the console, sweat beading on his forehead. But it happened again. This time, clearer. In the middle of Capcom reading a checklist, a different voice cut through, low and raspy. It only said 2 words. "Don't come back."
We all heard it that time. All 3 of us froze. Jim keyed the mic. "Houston, say again, please." A long pause. Then the familiar Capcom voice, perfectly normal. "We didn't say anything, 13. Proceed with the checklist." We looked at each other. The fear we felt then wasn't like the fear of freezing or running out of oxygen. This was a different kind of fear. A fear that we weren't alone, and that we couldn't trust our own reality. The worst of it happened when we swung around the dark side of the moon. Radio silence was expected. 45 minutes of total quiet. Just us and the black. The cold in the cabin felt heavier, seeping into our bones. We were adrift, helpless, over a dead world. Jim was looking out the window, his face lit by the dim glow of the panels. Suddenly, he sucked in a sharp breath. "Fred," he whispered, his voice hoarse. "Look." Jack and I floated over to the window. Below us, the lunar surface was a monochrome canvas of shadow and pale gray, illuminated by distant starlight. It was desolate, still, unchanged for billions of years. Except for one thing. It's watching.
and it's waiting.
In the center of a large crater, where there should have been nothing but shadow, there was a light. It wasn't a flicker or some random glint. It was a single, steady, and deliberate point of light, like a lone beacon in an endless ocean of night. It just sat there, glowing with a cold, white light. And as we drifted over it, we got the unshakable feeling that it was watching us. We said nothing. There were no words. We just stared. 3 men in a metal box, feeling impossibly small and terribly exposed. That light shouldn't have been there. It defied physics, everything we knew about the universe. As we were about to emerge from the shadow, the light winked out, simply vanished. Moments later, the radio crackled to life as we re-established contact with Houston. "Aquarius, this is Houston. How'd it go?" Jim's voice trembled when he answered. "Houston, we saw something. A light on the surface." The silence from Earth's end was longer than it should have been. We expected skepticism, questions, a request for clarification. Instead, when Capcom replied, his voice was cold and flat, nothing like before. "We know, 13, he said. "It's waiting." The blood in my veins turned to ice. It's waiting. The whole mission suddenly took on a new context. The explosion, the successful failure. Had it never been an accident? Were we just bait, sent out there to see what would answer? The rest of the trip was a blurry nightmare. We followed orders robotically, but the trust was gone. Every transmission from Houston now sounded ominous. Every creak of the ship made us jump. We weren't fighting for survival anymore. We were fleeing from something incomprehensible. We made it home. The world celebrated us. They gave us medals, but I could never shake the feeling of being watched. I never spoke of the light again, neither did Jim or Jack, but I saw it in their eyes sometimes, that haunted look. To this day, I can't look at the night sky without feeling a cold dread. They say the dark side of the moon is always turned away from us, forever hidden. But I know the truth. It is in hiding.
The final word has been written for tonight, but the Whisper Pen is never truly silent. Subscribe and return for the next chapter. Good night.